Lord, protect us both. May your study be fruitful. May we exert together. May we not quarrel with each other, and may the vision of the teaching bless our lives and the lives of those around us. Lord, let there be peace, peace, peace. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so here Swamiji was talking about what? Sannyas. And then sannyas he took it as what?
Then he talks about the choices of the two lifestyles.
Yeah. But then he was also talking, using the word sannyasa in a way that normally people don't look at. Sannyasa is seen as retirement from the world, right? It's a lifestyle of renunciation. And then what he's saying also what?
As a knowledge.
Okay, sannyasi is someone who has knowledge. So here, a sannyasi is jnani. Jnani means he who knows, right? So he who knows. What does he know? What is a jnani, a sannyasi? What does he know? What makes him a sannyasi or a jnani? What does he know?
That he is not a doer.
Okay. He is what?
Akarta.
Akarta, that's right. Akarta meaning, in this case what?
Not the doer.
As a matter of fact, this kartahood, or kartatvam, is there because there's someone doing. Isn't it? There's kartatvam is over there, there's it's a sense only. When we talked about sense, right? It's a sense of doership. As long as a person knows, aham akarta asmi, I am the akarta. In other words, I don't do. Then the person does. Because Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he's doing, he's teaching. And then he's referring to health and single in the first person, saying about things he does and he doesn't do. And then you say, this fellow then doesn't know that he's a karta. However, he does know that he's a karta, but then he functions in the world of names and karma. And there's no confusion. That's the whole idea. See, look at this, please. Kartatvam is synonymous to avidya. You know what I'm talking about? It's synonymous to ignorance. Ignorance of what? The truth of myself. Now, when kartatvam is there, then naturally the person feels incomplete. Why? Because the sense of individuality becomes asserted, affirmed. Then this sense of individuality automatically brings a desire. It fosters a desire to be complete, which is natural. Why? Because my nature is complete, but I don't know it, right? So now this desire comes on. For what? To be complete. Now, so then that prompts the mind to agitate. Agitate what? I want to be full, I want to be full. In other words, desire, that the thought, the idea of being limited brings out the idea of, hey, I want to be full, I want to complete myself. So therefore, the only field that the kartatvam, sense, the sense of karta, of doership, recognizes is a field of forms and names. So this mind then prompts the senses. They shoot outside naturally, because that's the way this consciousness goes to the senses. So it looks at the things, objects, it looks at beings, and it looks at situations, and it says, those will fulfill me, and those don't fulfill me. So therefore the person then gathers what? This desire for the things that he or she believes is going to fulfill me, and aversion, attraction for those, and aversion to those things that I think they're going to take away my peace. So raga dvesha comes. So then he gets involved in karma, and then the laws of karma, time, space, and all that. Then he starts developing punya and papa. And it becomes a vicious circle. It goes around and around and around. So this kartatvam is the sense of being the doer is based on ignorance. And ignorance breeds all kinds of stuff. Then, here's the question. So I connect with the world of objects, emotions, and thoughts. Feeling myself to be the perceiver, feeler, thinker, the ego. And then the question is, do I ever fulfill myself? Do I ever find fulfillment? Now, of course, sometimes I find fulfillment, right? I did it. Or, oh, it didn't happen. And so on and so on. But then, since the kartatvam doesn't go away, because that's the sense of doership doesn't go away, then the person, that sense of fulfillment is short-lived. And even though he's doing a lot of punya, he's doing a lot of good things, he's a good guy. This punya, since the sense of doership is still there, all he'll do, will accumulate a lot of punya, it will guarantee more births and rebirths, so samsara continues. Because he does not get complete fulfillment. His aim is to be fulfilled completely. This is a lot. We keep on going after things and being situations, and we get him finally. He finally gets done, and now what? It's very short-lived. So then you die with that feeling of, okay, so he has some achievements and some fulfillments, but there were more that didn't get done because he didn't have all the power and the knowledge. So you die, with a sigh. I wish I would have. Or I wish I wouldn't have, and so on. So then this guarantees a new birth. So the cycle continues. So kartatvam, means avidya. Now, when the person is able to say, listen, aham akarta asmi, I am not the doer, it recognizes that, then there is no, there's no, the mistake is no longer there. The person still functions, but he doesn't get this adherence of all this stuff. How do you call this? Aggregations, or how do you call those things, into his mind. So it's exhausting, stuff. In other words, he's an engineer, he's an artist, he's this, he's that. Those are getting exhausted, but it's not creating any more.
Backlog, so
backup, yeah.
Prarabdha.
That's more prarabdha, that's correct. So the person just enjoys life and is being fully, like a flower, like a little cat. He just enjoys himself. And he's dynamic. Why? Because he happens to be a dynamic person. He's got the world to fulfill and all that. And that person then is called a sannyasi. Now, he could be a person that leaves the world and then takes the lifestyle of renunciation. Or he could be a person involved in everyday living, was householder. But the ham akarta asmi is a prevalent mantra in the mind. It's not that the person doesn't remembers that. This is something that happens naturally. Just like you don't have to be thinking that you're a man or a woman. Say, wait a second, I'm a man, right? Okay, so I'm a man. I forgot I was a man. You don't forget that. then the person is called a realized being. That's called sannyasi. It's also the same is that person is a jnani, someone that knows. And that person you can distinguish from anybody else. He looks the same, talks the same, everything. But then there's something in the back of his entire personality, this knowledge, is a paradigm. Is that right? It's a paradigm from which he functions. Just like you might be dressing like a woman, you might be dressing like a man if you're not, and so on. Play the role and everything else, in a play, but you never lose sight of who you are. You take the roles, and you do them perfectly. But then who you are is never lost. See, if you're a guy and you're playing the role of a woman, when the show is over, and when the curtain comes down, you don't keep the high heels and the whole thing. They don't belong to you. He just plays the role. That's the thing. So sannyas here, it means self-knowledge. Now, a person can take the lifestyle of sannyas for the sake of purifying the mind, which is antakarana shuddhi. Because the person can do it. Well, any one of us wants to take the path of sannyas, in other words, lifestyle. And like Arjuna wanted to do, he wanted to become a monk, and go to the hills. And what did Krishna say? What did he say?
He said you cannot run away.
Right. And then you say, well, Krishna should have told him, hey, please go, you become spiritual. I said, hey, wait a minute, you can be spiritual in the middle of a war. I mean, spiritual meaning, you're exhausting your vasanas and you're actually learning about who you really are. And it becomes a means for antakarana shuddhi. You do for an ideal and all that. But running away from it will not do it. And that's what happens to many spiritual seekers. They think that they need to leave the world. And they say the world impinges upon it. And the world becomes a problem. My wife, my children, or my job, or my profession, or the politics and all that, they become useless in a society. Because they feel that they are being corralled or imprisoned or they're stuck in materialism, quote unquote. It's because of lack of understanding. Okay? And not because they're foolish or anything, they're fools. It's all because they don't know, right? They have not understood this properly, that's all. See? So that is why in many countries, the possibility, if a person starts saying, they take a culture like this, like in the 60s and 70s, all these boys, they want to just, they used to call it drop out. Remember the drop out generation? Then he comes this guy with a beard that was supposed to be a dropout, Swami. He says, hey, don't drop out, drop in. I said, what? Come on, take a bath. Get a job. Get off the food stamps. Go ask forgiveness to your parents, my God. And then, then you can lead a life of, which is according to your pravda, this is what you created, that's what you're going to get. Now, if for some reason there's a possibility of becoming a sannyasi, okay, fine, in terms of lifestyle. But you don't just go and drop out like that. That's called irresponsibility. But it has to do because of lack of understanding, that's all. This sannyas thing became. And some of these guys that came in, some of these Indian fellows, promoted that.
Yeah.
These gurus, these guys, these Vasudha gurus, they promoted that. They put all these opera all these people, shaved their head and all this stuff, and yogis came, and I was one of them. That says, you gotta dress a particular way, you gotta eat a particular way, and you gotta make up your mind. You wanna be spirituality or you wanna get a family. My God, I said, what is it? It was because even these fellows that were supposed to be spiritual leaders didn't know, they didn't understand. They themselves left their families. And they learned a lot of Shastra and all that, and they had a lot of mantras and all that. But they had disciplines, but they were frustrated human beings. Well, because they did the same thing Arjuna wanted to do. He wanted to go to the hills. and he had a duty to fulfill. So the old vasana, sex drive and all those things and profit motive and all that stuff was still there. But then the garb didn't show it, the beard and all that. That's why Swamiji said, he said, the longer the beard, the longer should be you like to doubt. Because, and some of us were rescued from that. And how do you get rescued? Nobody fetch. It's because you get it right, you understand it. And then all of a sudden, the how do you call it, the chain that you thought you had, it was just foolishness. That's all. It was not true. Yeah, that's all.
We're not shackled.
That's why no shackle. The shackle was just self-created because of then life became not understanding. So I'm trying to bring this into focus because Swamiji is actually talking about this sannyas. Okay, he's talking about. Now he's going to say here, what is sannyasa? Did we go into that yet? Where do we
are
go?
on 205. Suppose you go to a teacher.
All right. Okay. What do you read, please, Meena?
Okay. I have one question.
Yes, go ahead.
In the previous paragraph, it says it is strictly with reference to one's raga dveshas that the two lifestyles are given. A choice exists only in terms of these two. So two lifestyles are sannyasi and sansari? Or?
Well, not samsari. The two lifestyles means a person which is a renunciate, which leaves the world and commits completely to the pursuit, or a person that has this prarabdha, he has a family and children and gets a job and cooperation. It's a householder. A householder. So one is a sannyasi and the other is a karma yogi. Okay, now of course, not everybody that's a householder is a karma yogi. Karma yogi, you have to actually graduate to that. Usually we're kamya karmis. In other words, those are the way we want to get something, and that's why we act. In other words, if you look in the realm of everyday existence, it's only what I'm going to get. Even heaven becomes a profit. You go for heaven. So it's the lifestyle of the householder or the lifestyle of the renunciate. And it's only those who are qualified who will take the life of samsara. They say, who will be qualified to sannyasa? He has no interest at all in earning and competing and all that. And his pursuit is for the self, for self-knowledge. He becomes an adhikari or a devotee. He wants to meet God, as it were. Now, does that mean that the person that lives in the world doesn't do that? Yeah. He can also do that. He can go for that. But within the realm and a lifestyle of householder, while the other one does it in the lifestyle of renunciation. He doesn't have obligations. You see, he didn't create a family and children and all that and debt and all that kind of stuff. There's some people who don't have this. It's just like some of you guys. Okay, you're a professional. Okay, you have a profession, and some people then go and practice the profession. And some people don't practice the profession. What they do, they become research scientists. And they don't have a chingle in the thing. I am this and I am that, I say, hey, but they do what, how do you say that? Research stuff, and they write books and everything else, and theories. And they contribute to the society by doing that too. You need those too. You need both. You see what I mean? So there's just two lifestyles. One, the research person that is not dedicated anymore to the practice of everyday, paying bills. Somebody pays the bills for him. In other words, you have a university or a government or a rich uncle or something. He says, listen, you dedicate to that and do your research and your entire life, and this, but it's not taking me a whole life, you don't care. There, society sometimes have that ability to do that to people, but they value that. And they just go and that's all they do, they publish and everything. Right now, working for a person that is a researcher, he's a historian. And the guy functions and works through grants. He doesn't have very much money himself, but he has all this money that comes into him from institutions and how do you call those things? Yeah, grants.
Grants. Yeah.
Grants. And he doesn't have a shingle. I'm a historian and all. No, he doesn't publish for the sake of making money. He publishes because that's what he does. He said, my God, you put in all this work. You should be getting rich. You call this, I said, hey, that's not my thing is to be able to find the facts about history, and to be able to denounce all the stuff that goes on, here that they're actually trying to rewrite the history, and this is what really happened. So he focuses on a particular, so that's the sannyasi in some way. And while the other guy goes out there and sells books and everything else and becomes a famous guy, and he goes and appears in television shows and all that kind of stuff. So samsari is a lifestyle. Sannyasi is a lifestyle, and karma yoga is a lifestyle. Now, look at this, please. A sannyasi, a person that takes a vow, just to make a sannyasi, a person that takes a vow, is not necessarily someone that has knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Self-knowledge. But then, through that lifestyle, he dedicates himself for the pursuit of knowledge. You see the idea? So sannyasa here in itself implies what the guy is seeking. He's seeking to discover aham karta asmi, aham brahma asmi. That's what he's seeking to find. And look, and just like a person that lives in the world outside is not necessarily a karma yogi. But when he actually commits to the pursuit of knowledge, it's called a, how do you say that? Jinghasu. Then within this lifestyle of everyday living, then he's doing exactly the same thing as a sannyasi. But he's doing it, he's seeking self-knowledge, but he's doing it in the midst of everyday living. So there's two lifestyles. And the question is very good. It says, as a sannyasi also, a person may have to deal with the mind if raga-dveshas have not been resolved. And therefore, he has a lot to do in addition to serving the Guru Seva. It is exclusively with reference to one's raga-dveshas, or likes and dislikes, that the two lifestyles are given, and choice exists only in terms of these two lifestyles. There's no other choice. Is that clear now?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. You want to read now? Go on?
Yeah. Suppose you go to a teacher with many raga-dveshas in your mind. If you are lucky, the teacher who knows the subject matter perhaps can help you neutralize them. By serving the teacher and following his instructions, you can gain antakarana shuddhi. What Krishna points out here is that without karma yoga, sannyasa is not easy to accomplish. He does not say it is impossible, but he does say that here that it is difficult to accomplish sannyasa without the preparation of karma yoga. Dukham abdum ayukatama.
Okay, you wanna expand on this? What do you think here?
I think what he's saying is raga-dvesha neutralization. So
Excuse me?
Raga-dvesha, to neutralize raga-dvesha, you need to do, you need to understand karma yoga and karma yogi will neutralize.
Okay, so you have to understand karma yoga, what your karma yoga is really.
Yeah.
And but not only understand it, what else?
And he should
Antakarana shuddhi.
No, develop an attitude as a karma
towards
yoga.
the attitude.
See, you have to understand it and then develop an attitude, in other words, appropriate or own up this karma yoga attitude.
To accomplish it.
And then that will bring about this antakarana shuddhi, which means the purification of the inner instrument, the mind. So antakarana shuddhi, what it does, look at the word, okay, look at this. It neutralizes what?
Raga-dvesha.
Raga-dvesha. Neutralizes raga-dvesha. Now look at this, please. Watch. So I know I like this, or I despise this. Now, what I despise seems to be the thing I get all the time, and that sours my existence. And what I like, I get it only for a little bit, and then it goes away, and that then also makes my existence miserable. So therefore, I'm in constant struggle inside, trying to get what I want and trying to get rid of what I don't want. And in the meantime, my mind is what is ashuddhi? Ashuddhi means what?
Impure.
Impure. In terms of what?
Ragadveshas.
No. Come on. What does an impure mind contain?
Negative.
Negative what?
Or
Feelings.
the
No negativity only. Negative emotions. Negative feelings. Anger. Jealousy. Dissatisfaction. Sadness. Guilt. Resentments. So that is a mind that is the antakarana, which is shuddhi. An instrument, the mind, which is full of tensions and stresses. So you learn about karma yoga. So you understand what that means. The understanding it doesn't mean that you got it. Right? You can tell what is to be good. Let's say in terms of a skill. And you can tell what the skill is supposed to be. Let's suppose you get a door and you're supposed to make it,
Right.
and you go shh, right?
The plane.
You use a plane to do it, right? And then say, okay, well, and he said, this door is all crooked. Okay, fine. Now, besides it's too high, but we cannot cut too much out of it. And we have to just leave it so it works. So the guy gives you a plane, and he said, well, this plane here is supposed to make the door, just the size, so it works and closes and all that stuff. Because right now it doesn't close. Now watch. So now you know what you need. In other words, and the instrument, which is the plane. And then you go and tell the guy next to you, hey, you know what? This door is gonna get fixed with this plane. You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna go out there and cut the thing with a success, and he will make it so it will be nice and smooth. He's learning, isn't it? Now he can even tell you the guy. He picked it up from his master, which is his teacher. He knows now what karma yoga is, in this case, the problem and how to solve it. And the guy says, does it work? He says, I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. And then he goes and tries to do it. And the thing is going like this all over the place. Another door is ruined. Why? Because the fellow took too much in some areas and left too much in the other ones and all that. He breaks the plane because those things break. So understanding is not enough. So now you know what you need. You need to have the leg of karma phala data, knowing that the Lord is the one that gives you the results of your actions. That's what you need to understand. Okay, number two, and also that you need to live a life of dharma, which in dharma is the Lord Himself. So you actually become a devotee in a sense, and that's what karma yoga really believes, really becomes. So you understand it, and the teacher unfolds what it is. And you know why? Because that will take away all this antakarana shuddhi, which means the impurities. Oh, really? Here the mind becomes the door. And now I know what the problem is. Now I know I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be upset. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be jealous. I want to have a mind that is pure, so I can actually reflect the Lord and all that. I know that. And then they say there's two things, to know that the Lord is the giver of the results, and also to know that the relationship has to be done in dharma. And then you apply yourself for that, and it doesn't work. End up with a disturbed personality. So you have to follow the teacher's instructions and have a constant relationship with the Guru here. And then live according to Swamiji used to say, you want to serve me, see what I see. So to understand it is one thing, and to live that is another thing. And the thing is to be able to, it's a commitment to a life of karma yogas with a karma yoga attitude. And for that, you better be clear what is it going to be for. Because if you don't know what you're going to be for, it's going to be a discipline, yes. But then, it might bring more frustration. If it is not put in the context of your life. And for that, you need to know what you're looking for. What do you want? A calm mind. Because if you can do yoga, you can do a Coca-Cola, it makes you feel good. You give some charity, it makes you feel good. But then is the thing, man, I shouldn't have given that much. And so on, or I didn't give enough, guilt. it needs to be put in the context of personal self-knowledge, and moksha, in the context of moksha, the freedom, to get the knowledge for the sake of freedom. And if that is not understood properly, then the mind will just create more frustrations. So now I know about karma yoga, and then I can't live up to the 2 legs of karma yoga, as I say, and I feel bad about myself, or I pretend. Okay, and I know I'm pretending, and everybody else thinks I'm a great attitude guy, and that creates agitations. Why? Because I'm taking it out of context. I need to be able to have a locus to go to and say, hey, listen. Of course the mind can do it. Why? Because but who I am is okay. I need to have self-knowledge. I need to be introduced to who I am. Because otherwise, all you do is create either hypocrisy, or a very serious case of guilt. If it is not done in the context of who you are, understanding who you are, you need to know that there's nothing wrong with you. You need to know that there's nothing wrong with you. And that's something that is, self-knowledge is to be firm and asserted. And for that, since self-knowledge is not there yet, per se, then you have to trust the teacher and the teaching. You have to actually surrender to that. And that's what the Shastra says about me. And I'm going to bank on that. And then if my mind, those legs are not working right, but I have that place to go to, and then I don't have to pretend and fake it or anything. I am who I am, but now I have a locus to go to, and from that vantage, see that, hey, listen, I'm just a beginning, my God. The guy expects me to know how to do how do you say that, the plain thing?
Leveling the...
if he gave me an expensive door to work on, it's his fault. Lord, you can't. It's not my fault. I'm doing the best I can based on what I can, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I take it myself personally, I got a problem. Then I go around and hide, trying to put a little board, and put it on it to make it even, and I fake it up, yeah, come on. And then I go home and I dream about it. Why? Because I know I'm messing up, I'm hoping the guy won't notice it. And then I put a shingle, I say contractor. I'm not a contractor, okay? And then I have a few people, I got money, and then I start beating them up, appearing I am the knower. I've never been able to get a nice door straight. Then I become a guru, as it were. And I demand everybody be perfect. Why? Because I am perfect. I'm not perfect, I'm just living a pretense. Somebody once told me, he says, how come you're teaching this stuff? He says, I said, look, even this is what I didn't get it. But still, the fact of who I am is very well known to me. And even if I mess up, it's okay. Who I am is free. And you know what? With that, you can possibly do it. This is a very tricky thing. So karma yoga is not something to be just learned. It's to be acted out. In other words, it has to become, what do you call it? Parcel?
Assimilated?
Yeah, assimilate, yeah. It's an attitude. And then there can be forgiveness even of yourself. This is very interesting. All right, so please continue. It says, suppose you go to teacher. Okay.
You can.
Yeah, let me see. What Krishna points out here is that without karma yoga, without that attitude, sannyasa and self-knowledge is not easy to accomplish. He does not say it is impossible, but he does say that it is difficult to accomplish sannyasa without preparation of karma yoga. Why? Because you require the inner instrument. And the inner instrument is compared to a mirror that is wavy, crooked, or dirty. And you need to clean it. So you bring this mind. In the Catholic tradition, we have this ceremony. It's just a ritual. The people go and confess, on Saturday. They go to the priest and then put all their sins and everything to the Lord. And this guy here is supposed to tell the Lord, look, this guy is telling me all this garbage and all that. Forgiven. They say, okay, you're forgiven. And now you're clean of all the stuff because you let it all out. Okay, the catharsis. Now all the garbage goes out. Now, of course, prior to that, you're supposed to actually, make a list of all the stuff, and then all the sins, and then you have to see what are the opposites, so you can actually make an act of contrition. So I'm going to do this from now on, and gluttony. I'm going to be temperate, and all this stuff. Then you go and confess your sins to the Lord through the priest. Now watch. When you leave that place, after then you're supposed to, and this is all symbolic, your antakarana is supposed to be clean. In other words, your mind now is clean. As a matter of fact, your mother is not supposed to hit you, spank you. And then, because right now, this is so pure. Do anything that will make you angry. Your brothers are not supposed to be pushing each other and all that stuff. Because now you're ready for what? To accomplish the job. You know what the accomplished job is? The next day. You get up in the morning, you have clean clothes, take a bath, and all that, and you don't eat anything, and then you go to the church, okay, and you try not to talk too much because you don't want to create these agitations, some scars, and then you go and in the moment of the highest moment of the Mass, then you come forward and you receive the body of the Lord in the host. It's called communion.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a preparation for it. So this communion is the same thing as self-knowledge. So, Mother used to tell us, how can you offer to the Lord this mind that is so full of anger and so full of lies and everything else? You have to offer a mind that is pure. And then for that, you go and confess all these things. This is the purpose of that, of course. And that's supposed to be the original purpose of it. So you go there, so you're ready for communion. Communion means to come together so that God will come into your heart in the form of the host, Holy Host. They give you this wafer, this wafer, and when you take that wafer, go, oh, thank you, man, it was great, and you taste it and you chew. No, you're supposed to just let it dissolve in your mouth without biting on it. And eventually, it's a thin wafer. Yes, it dissolves. It's a little bit difficult because it gets stuck sometimes, and you feel that because it got stuck, But anyways, it dissolves. But then you go to your seat, quietly, and you sit there and you just
contemplate.
Yes, contemplate upon that. So, in the same sense, the world becomes a preparation. Everyday situation becomes a preparation for the moment of a communion with the Lord. Meaning what? Self-knowledge. For sannyasa to take place. To discover I'm not the doer. Yes.
You just mentioned that they're supposed to not bite but just let it dissolve. But I think I've seen many people chewing that and eating that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised with that.
Yeah. Well, that was the
tradition. You must have noticed that too. So.
Yeah. That is a tradition. Yeah. Of course, it's slow salawis, meaning many people, I'm not going to criticize, but that is the main purpose of it.
Yeah. I'm
just relating to what the rest of it, of course people can do all kinds of things because sometimes they're not educated to the thing. Yeah. And even if they, for example, I was a child, I was doing that. I didn't really know. I was told, don't talk, try to behave, isn't it, the day before, after confession, and, and don't get into any rough play and all this stuff because you didn't want to mess up. It's like getting a new suit that is nice, no wrinkles, and try not to sit on it.
Right.
So that you be ready for the interview. So the mind became like a new suit. Because now you iron it as you were. The mind, antakarana, became shuddhi. Because all the ashuddhis were just what? Taken out. So it is, all religions have the same principle. Even work. You got a new job, and they will offer you to go to a party the day before, and the party's going to end at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you got to be there at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning. I said, wait a minute, I gotta be together. So you go early, you take care of your business the day before, clean your clothes, put them all in the right place. Everything is proper, so that you can become wholly present for the job, isn't it? That's the thing. All these pending things, you took care of them. So you're not struggling in the morning with a shirt, where's my pants and where's my tie and all that kind of stuff. And where are the keys? And see, everything is in the right place. Brand new job. So you go and offer yourself, as you were, to that new position to be wholly present. Same difference here. There's an appointment with myself. It's an appointment with myself. I need to come to who I am. I need to own up who I am. And may my life be conducive, to that. And that, nobody can control. You can do anything you want. That's why it's your problem. But how I take it. How I take it. And so that I'm always, I'm always on. I don't know if that's the right thing. I'm always on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always on. I never turn myself off. And I'm doing all kinds of other stuff. I'm always on. This is like a mother. She's always on with the children, isn't it? She might be doing all kinds of other stuff. But even the silence becomes concerned. I say, oops, what's going on? Hey, what's happening? Take a look. It's always on. Goes to sleep. The father just snores away. The mother even sleep is always on. Any noise sat there in the bedroom with the kids. She gets up and see what's going on. Isn't it? It's always on. But here's in a joyful way. This thing here is a joyful thing. Why? Because the context is that who I am is amazing, it's something beautiful. I'm not going to become that. I'm just allowing my mind to enjoy me. See the idea? I'm just allowing my mind to enjoy me. That's why I don't turn it off. That is why, it's a contradiction to be a seeker of knowledge, of this knowledge, and then to turn oneself off. Through drugs or alcohol and stuff like that, licentiousness and stuff like that. Everything with measure, because you have to be always on. And even then, I used to see Swamiji, Swamiji Dayananda, watching TV, Charles Mason or whatever, this guy, called this attorney guy.
Yeah.
He used to have Perry Mason. Okay, he used to have fun watching Perry Mason or watching tennis and all that stuff. But he was always on. Even in that, he picked up something. The idea? You see a toad, and you see something there. And you see a flower, and you pick up something there. You see a cockroach, and you pick up something there. You see what I'm talking about? It's always on. The wonder. Somebody was telling me today that in some town, they decided to actually get rid of all the bats, because the bats were a whole bunch of people. Bats used to come inside the house sometimes. So that the city or something decided to create a complete extinction of bats, and they started killing bats. And I don't know what they did to it. So they took care of all these bats. But you know what? Man, they couldn't stand all the bugs that came from all the place because the bats ate them. Everything is perfect. Even bats play a role. So to recognize the beauty of nature and all that is to be always on. And it is all God's design. This is beautiful. So you're always on. You see I took a picture of I was someplace and there was these leaves, these dead leaves, and they were so beautiful. And it's just amazing to see that. And I said, what the heck is there for you to turn you on? I said, my God, it's amazing. It is a miracle. The perfection, the engineering, the what goes on to make even a dead leaf. The color and the texture of the dead leaf, the way it crunches and the way it stays together in spot. It's just an amazing thing. So this is to be always on. You see your partner, you see everything, you see your mind reacting, and you're always on. You say, oh, this is great, this stupid mind is doing this. Of course, it's supposed to, based on prarabdha. So then that's called spiritual life, to be always on. So sannyasa is impossible if the person has not developed antakarana shuddhi. so that the person can be present. To be honest, to be present. Here, now. That's the whole idea. Without it, self-knowledge cannot take place. Yes.
When you say Swamiji used to pick up something from even the tennis games, I remember when we were in school in the 5th grade or 6th grade, they showed us the cartoons, that Laurel and Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how that they always stumble around, do something here and there. So one of the guys was taking a long stick on his hand, on his shoulder, and going from one place to another, and the stick gets caught here, caught there, and some other people fall down. And our teacher told us one amazing thing. He said, fine, you laugh and everything, but just there is one thing to learn. He said, when you yourself are carrying anything like that, make sure that you don't stumble around, or that whatever stick or something that you carry around, watch at your back or watch at your front, or see if the thing is going to get stuck somewhere. For the 5th grader, that was a great lesson, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's called mindfulness. Yeah. To be always on is called mindfulness. Have you heard about the word mindfulness? That's what it means, to be always on. Yeah. And whatever is happening, if we say that there's a universe, fine. But the universe has no existence unless the Lord is there. The universe is the Lord. The Lord is not the universe. Because without the universe, the Lord still is. Right? Brahman still is. But then you're observing the Lord himself. Now, to be able to do that, you got to be on. Of course, you got to be conscious of what's going on. Watch out with the cars. Get out of the way, fine. No problem. Step on the brake or whatever. But you also have to be present to the glory of the universe, which belongs to Ishvara. And that's why Swamiji used to do like this. It was just amazing to be able to do that. And so what's on it? He was seeing the glory of the Lord, the manifestation, of, what it takes to do this. You don't know what it takes to do this. It's amazing. What it takes, we can just come with all kinds of explanations, nervous system, brain, all that stuff. But what makes it possible for life to be there? So that's to be on. Now, how can you be on like that if there's anger and there's jealousy and there's all this stuff? This contentious attitude. You become a menace to me. Everybody becomes, even the ones that are not, he become a menace to me. I think about, oh my God, it's called Vesha. See the idea? How can that, you have to neutralize it. How do you neutralize it? Just come home and say, hey, listen, come on, what can anybody do to you? Because the whole thing comes from insecurity. I don't want anybody to perturb or distract my comforts and so on. And if I perceive you as a source of discomfort, then I have an aversion towards you. You see what I'm talking about? And even though you're not even coming, you see? But just the idea of, and so on and so on.
Threat.
Everything becomes a threat. And that mind, then, of course, needs to open up. It needs to open up. It needs to be turned on because it's turned off. Well, let's see that show and I'll turn on. Let me take this drink and I'll turn on. Let me have this dinner and I'll turn on. Let me go to this place and I'll turn on. Let this happen and then I'll turn on. When that happens, I'm okay. See? So now we become what?
Depending on something.
Yeah, we come in off and on, and even when the thing is there, we're not on because it's never good enough. or we focus on the fact it's going to end. But if the person is turned on, so things become and things go, but you're turned on, so there's no problem. So they have, okay, you wish to stay, okay, can you stay a little longer, whatever, the moment or whatever. But if you cannot, you let it go and then you do the next. You're available to what's going there. It's called to be here, now. It's to be on. And you have to turn on. As a matter of fact, you are always on.
Don't turn it off.
You are always on.
Don't turn it off.
No, you can't turn yourself off. What do I mean by that?
You're always on.
Yeah, you are always on. Is that true? In what sense? From what point of view?
You're the Sakshi.
Huh? From the standpoint of the self, this awareness. Even when you're asleep, this sleep is on. Who you are is always on.
The existence.
Who you are, you're always on. You don't flicker. Now what flickers is the mind, because it's a fickle mind.
Right.
If there's a fickle mind, it will flicker. So if it's and even the things that happen that you wish happen, they themselves don't fulfill you. And they turn you off, as you were. So things and beings and situations that turn you off. Now you depend on things to switch you on. When you don't need to be switched on because you're always on. So Antakarana Shuddhi will allow you to be on. To, how do you say that? To realize the fact that you are on all the time. It's a contemplative attitude. To be on. That's something else. You never cease to be the engineer. Engineer is always on. Even sometimes it takes a break.
Yeah.
But you can see things from the engineering standpoint, and so on and so on. So, Antakarana Shuddhi, without it, there is no fulfillment possible. In other words, sannyasa and self-knowledge, if it takes sannyasa, self-knowledge, it's not possible. And, or, if the person takes on the lifestyle of sannyasa, which means renunciation, gets away from the world because he can, if there is not, he's still working with raga dveshas, in order to neutralize them. And what it means, when they neutralize, the antakarana shuddhi has taken place and the person is on. And not on because of what he can rattle in terms of words, or the things that he can remember. No. It's all on. It has nothing to do with the robe, it's just something that you're on. It's like being a woman. If you're a woman, you're always on. I don't know, to use the word always on.
Yeah.
It's appropriate. I think it works.
Yeah.
It works for me anyway. I need to be on. That's why I decided many years ago, I took certain vows, personal vows.
Yeah.
Try to be on. And of course, it's not easy.
I know.
Not easy, but still, I know I'm always on anyway, regardless. Meaning, who I am is always on. You see the idea? And even though the mind is off, I'm always on. So, okay, I allow the mind to be off sometimes, but I'm on. There's nothing wrong with me. You see the idea? That's freedom. And then you get a kick out of life. You squeeze, what the content of what life has. Okay. This is the person who gained Brahman. Munihi Brahma Adhigashati. Do we see that yet? No. Read the next one, please.
Okay. You cannot become a sannyasi by will, by just deciding to do so. You need to be endowed with karma yoga yukta, meaning that you need to live a life of karma yoga. One who is endowed with yoga is one who can understand and analyze what is being said. Such a person is called a muni, one who can understand. This is the person who gains Brahman. Munihi Brahma Adhigachati.
Okay. So it's something you can will. You have to be endowed. It doesn't say you have to do. He has to be endowed with karma yoga. And nobody endows you, as you were. You see, this endow is like, it's like I mean, all the possibilities for strength within you. And then you actually do the things that will bring strength. And then you're endowed with strength. Okay? And that far you can go. Karma yoga is an attitude that you can actually, and then sannyasa is something that takes by itself. You're how do you say that? You're using the same analogy here, and let's see if it works. So I develop physically a strength. And that strength is there, agility is there, health is there. And that I did keep it up, I maintained it, let's just say that. But then a moment comes that is needed, and you don't even think about it. You just use it, it's there. There's no will involved in it. It's just for the moment that's required. It was, you apply it. So here, you don't apply self-knowledge, but the mind, you bring the mind to be on through karma yoga. And now it's endowed with this karma yoga attitude. And in that mind, the knowledge will take place. Okay, so sannyas, in other words, will take place. So you cannot will it. You cannot will it.
So he's using another word called muni.
Mm-hmm.
Previously we used sannyas, sannyasi.
Mm-hmm.
It's interchangeable, I guess. It's muni and sannyasi.
Okay, munihi, I mean here, a mind that is silent, available. Let me just use it in this particular, muni, he's a person that can understand, he says, right?
Mm.
Is that right, what he says?
Mm.
Now watch. I'm gonna just, how do you say it in English? There's this thing about film. SAA or SE, how do you say SAE? For the film, they have different degrees. 100.
SAE.
SAE?
ASA.
ASA, okay. That's ASA, right? You have 100, you have 200, you have 400, you have 800, and you got 1,000, and you got 1,200, right? Film that is SAE 100 cannot pick up without a flash what's inside the cabinet. Because the cabinet, there's no light in the cabinet, isn't it? And you try to use it, and when you develop that thing, it'll be just a black thing. So you see that, maybe a little bit of a thing. So take that as a condition of a mind which is shuddhi. 100. Okay. Now, as a person matures, then the SAE changes from 100 to 150, 200. I'm talking in terms of the mind to 200. Then pick up more. Without the same amount of light, it can pick up more of what's there. In other words, the mind can understand. There's certain things. Now you take that same mind and you make it. You grow more, and now you got SAE 400. Now you can pick up things in movement even, and catch them up, isn't it? With the proper light and everything, you'll catch up some things that normally the other won't pick up. You will record what's happening. You will record what's there because of the sensitivity of the film. Now, when it becomes, I used 1,000 one time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I use it too. Yeah.
And you put a tripod, and you open a shot of nothing, and my God, even things that you yourself don't see very well, it picks up. It's beautiful. Of course, because you don't just go out and shoot with 1,000, because it's too sensitive. Any movement will also pick up also. So that's why I said you need to have a tripod, because it will be, and don't touch it. And my God, it impresses everything. So muni here, usually the word muni, what I learned it originally, had to do with a human being that was silent.
Yes.
It's
A person, a
That is
Mona.
Mauni,
A
yeah.
Moni. A Moni, is that the same one? Moni? No,
No,
it's
No,
not
no,
Moni.
Mauni.
Mauni
Maun and
is-
Muni.
Muni. Oh, it's different.
Different,
Yeah, different. Well, I say a Muni is someone whose SAE is very high.
yeah, I think the one
Yeah, that
is
is
a
true,
wise,
yeah.
wise person.
Yeah,
something like
yeah, Muni. Yeah, but it is just because his mind is highly subtle. If you think in terms of percentages of sattva, rajas, and tamas is imperceivable. Rajas is just a little bit, and sattva is high. Sattva is a condition of the mind that the mind can pick up. That's why I say it's on. It's on all the time. Even when we don't see, he sees. The wise. Okay, listen please. For the wise, what is darkness for the ignorant is day for the wise. Have you heard that?
Before, yeah.
We saw that one time.
Yeah.
Because the fella is on. It's SAE. SAE, you say it? ASA. I'm sorry, I was getting confused. His ASA is high. In other words, very antakana shuri. And what causes it? Does some person have likes and dislikes? Yes, he does have likes and dislikes. You give him a choice between Mexican food and Indian food, he'll take the Indian food if the guy is Indian. If the guy is a Mexican, he'll take Mexican food. Indian stuff doesn't look too cool, to a Mexican. So what is that, It's just smelling and all that stuff. So there is likes and but they're neutralized. See the idea? They're neutralized. What he can rise above, he's mature. He's not a whiny guy. He's not a fickle guy. He will have his choices, but they are not binding, as it were. Doesn't take it personally. You give a Hindu, Mexican food, Of course, he would rather have American food, Indian food, but he'll take the Mexican food. No problem. And if you don't, and all he'll fast, no problem. But he won't feel hurt. He'll still love you anyway. That's the beautiful thing about it. So this Muni, is not the Muni. Is he who's able to understand, has the capacity to see, right? He said. Then he says, one who is endowed with yoga is one who can understand and analyze what is being said. Such a person is called a Muni, one who can understand. This is a person who gains Brahman. And again, gains means what? Does one gain Brahman?
You are.
What can you
So,
gain?
as though you get.
As though you gain Brahman. Like he says, I'm going to sleep. And then you're laying there. I thought you went to sleep yesterday, laying there. I'm going to sleep. I mean, what? I don't see you doing it to go sleep. In other words, you're not going anywhere, No, yes. It's a switch. It's a change of cognition. It's a cognitive change. Is that correct to say? It's from one state of consciousness to another state of consciousness. That's all. So that person then can drop. Listen, please. Can drop the identity with a reflection and owns up the subject that is reflecting. See the idea? I take pictures in the store. I take pictures for passports. And people will become very upset when the picture, when they see themselves, Oh! Take another one. Now, the picture is a reflection, isn't it? Well, people identify with a reflection. And they're ashamed about the reflection. Or they're angry with the reflection. And they're angry with themselves. And you know what I tell them? I said, listen, never mind the picture. I like the original. It's better. The subject is perfect. What the heck? It's just a reflection of it. Because we actually identify. So this mind, when it's agitated, it brings a distorted perception of who you are, because it's limited in so many ways. The mind picks up the limitations. And the mind that doesn't have any shuddhi, in other words, is ashuddhi. I am an ugly guy. But if you purify the mind, then that mind, shows a happy, beautiful guy, even though it's still an individual. Now, what's this? Even though it's still an individual, the person reflected there is a more beautiful person. What more beautiful can be than a happy fella, a joyful, cheerful mind? So, but it still is a reflection, isn't it? But it's better than the other reflection, wasn't it? When the guy was always angry, always upset, always fearful, always insecure. But the person is secure. So it's a wonderful fellow, but it's still a reflection. Well, but then that allows a person to drop that reflection and to pick up the self. Because what it is, the joy of the mind, is nothing but an expression of the self. It's actually a reflection of me, who I am. So the jnani, the muni, this guy, the muni is someone that is able to understand that I am not the reflection, I am the one because of which the reflection is there. But I need to accomplish, as you were, the job, the task of being born, to live a life of karma yoga, to become a yogi, as you were here. He says a yogi. It's a life of yoga. It's called yoga yukta. So that the mind, a person that has a yoga yukta mind is a person that is a lovely mind. He can really enjoy himself or herself, independent of what goes on outside. You may hate me, you might love me, you might despise me, you can accept me, you might build temples, or you might throw me rocks. It doesn't matter, because I have a mind that is acceptable. I am okay, but it still is a reflection. But in that mind, ere long, will gain Brahman, meaning himself. Why? Because now there's a possibility of coming home, as you were. And again, there's no coming. That is what's called self-realization. And nothing happened except now that instead of identifying with the reflection, I identify with who I really am. But I need to accept who I am first, in principle. I need to heed to what the Shastra says. It's called Shraddha. I need to see, the moon is there. I said, what? Yeah, the moon is there. I said, what? In the middle of the day? Yeah, it's there. I said, what? Oh, come on. And then the guy says, you want to see it? Oh, get out of here. What moon? You want? Show me. Now, if I say show me, it means that I believe what this guy is saying, that the moon is there. And I believe that this fella is trying to show me something wonderful. And then I go through the process. And then he says this, and he says that, he shows that. I said, I thought you were going to show me the moon. You show me the houses there, you show me the trees. Be patient. Shut up. You mean I say that, yes, the moon is there. So I accept in principle the moon is there. And then I follow with Shraddha what this guy is telling me. And I go on. And I say one day, and lo and behold, I see, it is there. Asti, Asti, it is true. You see, but for that, you need to relax. You need to actually, surrender to the teaching. And then, with the attitude of wanting to see what is there, I have to believe it. Just have to trust it. Actually, trust it more than anything else. Okay, anyway, so now let's see what is sannyas. Okay, you want to read that, please?
Sure. Sannyasa is Brahman. Nyasa means renunciation, and sannyasa means perfect or total renunciation. A renunciation with maturity. Sannyasa, Sankhya. Sannyasa, Sankhya, and Brahman all have the same meaning. Knowledge of Brahman is called Sankhya, which is also called sannyasa. And sannyasa is also called Brahman, which is gained by the yoga yukta, the one endowed with yoga. and who is a Muni. Such a person gains Brahman, otherwise referred to as sannyasa, knowledge of Brahman.
Okay. Does this require any more explanation?
I think it's reinforcing the same.
Yeah.
The Brahman, the sannyasa, and the Muni are
But
interchangeable.
Yeah, but you see us making all these change connections?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay? It's saying
The link.
Sankhya, sannyasa, and Brahman all have the same meaning. Now, what does the word Sankhya mean?
Sankhya means knowledge.
Knowledge.
That's
right.
That's a chapter 2
Chapter
of Gita,
of the Gita, that's
which
right.
is finished. Yeah. And if you look at the title, if you have a book here, that is titled as knowledge.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sankhya Yoga. Okay?
Exactly.
So he says, sannyasa, Sankhya, and Brahman all have the same meaning. Yes.
That he pointed out one pretty, he said, nyasa means renunciation, and sannyasa actually is a combination of two words. Sanskrit is a beautiful language. It's like Sadguru,
Mm-hmm.
Satsang,
Mm-hmm.
it's Sat, Nyasa. So when that Sat, that short ta combines with na, that is pronounced as double N, sannyasa.
San.
Instead of Satnyasa, it is sannyasa.
Sannyasa.
That's the beauty of the Sanskrit
Oh, I
language.
didn't know that. This is beautiful.
So I just thought I would
That's
just
great.
impart onto words. It's sannyasa coming from nyasa. Sat, nyasa.
So the perfection comes from the fact that it's Satyam.
Yes. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, nyasa means renunciation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the perfection means the fact that it's Satyasa, sannyasa.
So that's a, you can ask any guy who has learned Sanskrit at all. That's the very first thing we learned about, called sandhi. Sandhi means joining two words together. Even Leena learned at Berkeley. So sannyasa, the ta and na makes na. So I thought I would
Sannyasa.
pass it on to you.
Beautiful, thank you. That's very good. Knowledge of Brahman is called Sankhya, which is also called sannyasa. Now, this can be confusing because, wait a minute, call it one thing. Call it one thing, come on, don't give me all these names for the same thing. Okay, now, see, that's, because people can become, so knowledge of Brahman is called Sankhya. Okay, then, which is also called sannyasa. And sannyasa is also called Brahma. Now, why is it called Brahma? And why come it doesn't say Brahman? Is he referring to one of the three divine principles, which is Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva? Or is he referring to a name that is also given to another way of saying Brahman? What is the difference between Brahma and Brahman?
But Brahman is a state, Brahma is a noun. Is that what it is?
No, Brahman is not a state.
Is a Lord,
Huh?
Lord, right? Brahma.
Brahma is the Lord,
Vishnu,
yes.
Mahesh,
Yeah.
Brahma, and Brahman is the knowledge. Right?
Brahman is a whole,
The whole.
the ultimate reality, Brahman. Okay, right? Now, is the word Brahma here using, as you say, as the Lord? Okay, now look at this, please. Now let's see if we can work this out. Let's take a little wave in the ocean. Again, using the wave example. H2O is Brahman, isn't it? And H2O gives rise to the sea, the ocean, and that could be Ishvara or Brahma. That's the highest Lord, which is Brahma. In other words, the creator, isn't it? Isn't Brahma the creative power?
Yeah.
Is that the knowledge they say Ishvara is also the creator? Is that right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Interchangeable.
Yeah, right, it's interchangeable. So anyway, so when you think about, if a little wave, it's a sannyasi, it's perfect renunciation. In other words, established in the self, that's what it is. It's self-knowledge. Then Sankhya is there. Okay, and Sankhya and Brahman, which is the H2O, is identical. right? Because what is the wave know? What is his sankhya? What is his knowledge? Aham Brahmasmi, isn't it? I am the H2O, isn't it? Aham H2O Asmi. Now, and then what is the ocean? Ocean is nothing but Brahma, which is also the knowledge. So this fellow gains not only Brahman, self-knowledge, which is I am Brahman, but also I am also a Lord. Like Jesus would say, my Father and I are one. You see the idea? So here the creature is identifying himself and knowing that that Lord that created everything is nothing but himself alone. As a matter of fact, there is no creation. All there is the manifestation of Brahman. But then the Brahma, in this case the creator, is taken into account because it's from the point of view of the jiva. But this is a jiva mukta. It's called a yoga yukta. That now in life, living, has come to see who he is. See what I'm talking about? I'm just stretching this out. So because he's talking Brahman and Sankhya is the same thing, and it's also Brahma. And he's not saying Brahman.
Yeah.
He's saying Brahma. And what is Brahma? Brahma is a creative power, isn't it? So it can be equal to Ishvara. Is that right? Ishvara meaning the creator of the universe. So then there is no distance between you and God. As a matter of fact, look.
What I see.
You see, you're seeing God. Where? Everywhere. Remember that we saw one time that there's not one God? Did we see that? There's not one God. Do you know that?
There is not one God?
There's not one God. There's only God.
That's true, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, the word Brahma here could be that all there is God. There is not one God. Your God, my God, his God, and all. No, it's only one God. I said, no, it's not even one God. It's only God. Now contemplate upon that. And then you say, wait a second, so where do I end up if there's only God? Where do I end up? This guy here, how do you call this, dismisses me. Because he's only God, and where do I know I am. And I know this body, this personality structure is me. And I know I have a sense of I, an individuality. And you say there's only God? So either that is not true, okay, because, I am here, and then if there's only God, it's me. Or if it is true, then Aham, God has me, I am that God. Because I know I am. Now, look at this, in the ocean. All there is the ocean, there's no way. There's no way. What? A way will say, I am. All there is ocean. That's the only thing is ocean. That's what happens to me. I know I am a wave, I'm manifested. So either that's not true, I say I, the wave, and the ocean are two different things. In other words, God. Or the other possibility is that if there's only ocean, then I am ocean. I am the ocean. And then somebody else will say, how can you be the ocean? The ocean is big and just a tiny little one. And then you say, hey, wait a second. What is the ocean? And what is the wave? What is the satyam of the ocean? What does the ocean say about itself? It's I am, period. And what do you say? I am, period. And what is I am is the same. And what gives them the ocean the I amness? The fact that it is this H2O-ness that gives it existence, this I am. And what is the wave? Where does he get his I amness? Also, he gets it from H2O-ness also. So I and the wave and the ocean are one. Not from the standpoint of the form, because these are a big form. It was there before I came, isn't it? And it's going to be there when I go. But from the standpoint of who I am, the truth of me, the vastu, is identical. As a matter of fact, not identical. It's the same. in me as it is in the ocean. As a matter of fact, there is no ocean. All there is myself. Now I have to take that to the bank and live with that understanding and look at the universe. And then you see yourself as separate. And I just wink an eye and say, it only appears to be separate. This is who I am. And I cannot but love you, you know. I mean, I love everything. That is a consequence of Sankhya. Sankhya needs to bring about love in the mind. Love with oneself, by oneself, and love for the expression, because it's all myself. Isn't it? If it is assimilated properly. So this mind needs to gain that particular capacity to do that. So it says sannyasa means renunciation, and sannyasa means perfect or total renunciation. Why? Because this sun is actually made up of sat. Sat means that satyam, the truth. Okay, so and then the renunciation in fact, meaning what? That the self doesn't do. Okay, then he says, this is a renunciation with maturity, meaning what is a consequence of a mind that has risen above raga dveshas. It's actually neutralized raga dveshas. That's what maturity means, please. Maturity is in terms of the ability to rise above raga dveshas. Isn't it? Mm-hmm. Not in terms of chronological age or our experiences. Maturity is in terms of being able to not be, how do you call this, manipulated by likes and dislikes. So things and beings and situations don't have power over you. That is called maturity. Only that mind can own up what the truth is. So it says knowledge of Brahman is called Sankhya, which is also called sannyasa. And sannyasa is also called Brahma. Now we talked about that. Brahma here meaning Ishvara. Mm-hmm. Okay? It says, which is gained by the yoga yukta. In other words, that person now sees Brahman everywhere. And he sees also the Lord everywhere. Isn't it? He says, the one endowed with yoga, the guys together. Isn't it? The guys together. It says, and who is a muni? Muni means because he's been together, he's always on. He's present to learn, to pick up. It says, such a person gains Brahman. Otherwise, referred to as sannyasa, knowledge of Brahman. Any questions, any doubts on this? Any comments? What does it do to you to see this? Okay. Lord, lead us from what appears to be true to what is true. Lead us, Lord, from confusion into clarity. Lord, lead us from a sense of limitation to discover our limitlessness. Lord, that is complete. This is complete. From that complete, this complete became manifest. And if from that complete we were to take away this complete, what remained would again be only the complete. Lord. Let there be peace. 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 Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityo Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kachit Dukha Bhavet Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Guruvyo Namaha Hari Om.
Thank you.
Something else. Thank you.